Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tyler Vann Show, Wednesday night edition. Thanks to me, I had to do some family traveling last night, but I want to welcome in, of course, Howie Chaney on the far right, and of course in the middle, Coach Tyler Vann advancing to the third round of playoffs, second year in a row. Coach, I don't know how many times that's been done at Sylvania, but getting to the third round, it's a pretty rare thing, and especially back-to-back years.
Yeah, I think it's the only second time in school history we made it back-to-back years, and really proud of the guys and the work they put in. They had to beat a really good Winfield team last week to get here, so thought our guys played a really good football game the other night. We got to clean up some procedure calls that a lot of it, a few of it stems from guys on the other side last week kind of mimicking some stuff and screaming, which is illegal, and that didn't get called, but we still got to do a good job sitting in there. But other than that, I thought our guys played a really good football game against a really good football team. So we have stuff we need to clean up. But I feel like we've gotten better, a little bit better this week each day. So we're excited about playing in a big matchup this week.
Coach, it's a rematch from last year, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit. But I got a viewer question that I thought was intriguing. It's from a friend of mine, Steve, over in Nashville. And, he was asking me about why a rural community like South Mountain, where there's not a ton of people, it's a pretty good population, could have four teams into the third round of the playoffs, opposed to Nashville with 7 million people has got two. What makes Sand Mountain so special when it comes to high school football?
I think that's a lot what these kids live for. I think that's they love football. They grew up, parents played it, dads played it. It's something that's been around and passed down, and something the kids love. And I know, just speaking from, I don't know about everyone else's school or whatever, but speaking from Sylvania High School and being around, we have a lot of hard nosed kids that just want to play the game of football and hit somebody else. And the physical nature of DeKalb County football is also a big deal, but I think the kids love it. They love football, and I'm sure they love football everywhere. I'm just speaking from our terms and from our community in DeKalb County. This place, DeKalb County, Jackson County, people love fall, and a lot of the reasons people love fall is it's football's here, and you get a chance to watch football. So our kids love it, and I think that's a big deal. Being able to play it week in, week out, being able to tell you kids about it one day. I still have buddies that we talk about all the time when we play. It's something that sticks with you. Memories. I think the furthest we ever made it was the first round. I remember it, and I remember playing in the game, and I remember the chances we had to win the game. So it's something you don't ever forget, and I know these kids won't forget it. I know it's something they look forward to every year.
No better example than a few weeks ago on week 10. There was a picture that I have saved in my phone, and I've used it a couple of times, of Logan and Jack together. And you start talking about Anderson and Sylvania football. That's multiple generations that grew up around that program. And I think that history is different than other places. When you get into that family name. I called Anderson in 1992 calling the Sylvania games. It's just different.
It is. It's something that, ever seems like everywhere you go, especially on the mountain, there's always some names that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
There's families passing down stuff, but I think everybody loves football, especially on the mountain. It's something you live for.
All right, Howie, why don't you kick us off in that second round matchup? And Coach, I always start worrying with the second round, but successful on Friday night, and Howie, you can start the line of questioning from there.
Yeah, Coach, big win, 35-10 over a very talented Winfield team that I think you did a great job in the whole game controlling the line of scrimmage, and you held them to 130 yards of total offense in the first half. You had to be pleased with that.
Yeah, you look at what their offense has been able to accomplish all year. They put up a lot of numbers. Their defense has played really well. So we knew it was going to be a tough task going in. I think Coach McKinney does a really good job with his team. They play really hard. They're a physical football team. But I just, like I told the kids, like if we're going to win football games in the playoffs, we have to be more physical. So I thought our guys were Friday night. I thought we flew to the football on defense. I thought we hit them. And on offense, I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage, was able to pound out some first downs. Number 2, Aiden ran the ball again like a man. And, that's a big deal when you can hand the ball off and get 3 or 4 yards a pop, 2 or 3, and stay on schedule. I think that was a big difference, in how we can – when we're controlling the line of scrimmage and moving the ball 2 to 3 yards at a time and sometimes busting off a few more and staying on schedule. Well, the quarterback's job is a lot easier when you're in passing, situation, passing downs, rather than being in, pass-only downs. Like if I'm in a run-pass down, and that's passing down for me, like for a quarterback, and the quarterback turns passing down because, the defense is not sitting dead red on pass. So then it becomes easier. Things become more open. There's not as much pressure. Normally they're not dialing up pressures. Now you get 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, it's a heavy pass down. As far as, offense is concerned, they have to throw the ball. It's not a good pass down. That's when it becomes tough for a quarterback because you've got a lot of guys coming. You have a lot of guys, twisting up front. They're dialing up blitzes. That's what makes it tough. We're a really good offense, I think, when we're on time and not getting behind the chains because of a penalty. I can take a holding call and stuff like that. That happens. Procedures we've got to clean up, and I think we will. We worked it more this week. It's something I've never thought we work it every day because we motion, we snap on the cadence every single day. So I don't know since June. It's something you practice every day. It's just a matter of being mentally tough and sitting in there regardless of what's happening in front of you. And regardless of what's going on in the game. But I think our guys will get better. I trust them to do that. They understand the importance. They always have. It's just, sometimes in the game you're going to mess up. And but I did think our guys, they do a good job of overcoming it a lot of the time. You look, and, it does stop us a few times, but our guys do a good job of overcoming it. There's not a good 1st and 15 play. Sure as heck's not a good 2nd and 20 play. They're not out there. If you know one, send it to me so I can put it in because there's really not good 2nd, 20, 2nd, 15 plays. But I'm proud of our offense and how we control the line of scrimmage and stayed on schedule.
Speaking of, go ahead, Randy.
Real fast, because he kind of hit on it. In reviewing the film, Coach, I thought Griff had maybe one of his best games controlling the game, not necessarily throwing, or not necessarily in the stat book, but his maturity level and controlling the game and doing the things you asked. I thought he had a real good game in round 2.
Oh, he played really well. I think he's played good the last 2 weeks. I said it numerous times. The 5 games won't help him. He stood in there on the one we threw the touchdown. There was a guy in his face. He slid in the pocket, stepped up through it, or he slid back and then threw the ball. So, he didn't run out of the pocket. He knew where he was going to go with the football. We're going to get man coverage a lot this week again, maybe some cover 3. I hadn't seen him too much and too high. So, maybe another week where if we're throwing it, he's going to have a really good idea where we're going with the ball. And he's throwing the ball really well. So, we missed 2 there late. That's 2 he said he should hit. But, he's I think he ended 11 or 16 and 148, a couple touchdowns, very productive night. He hit the screens, and screen game's big for us this past week. So, he just managed the game like you're supposed to manage the game. We're not asking to go out there and throw for 300. We ain't asked nobody to do that. Brody Smith did it. Brody Smith was a 4 or 5 year starter, like year 1 for me. He was very accurate. He did a really good job. But fans have gotten better and better. He's playing good. He's managing the game, making the throws he needs to make, and I'm really proud of him. He's put a lot of work. We've been throwing more, doing different indie drills, and working some stuff, moving in the pocket. And I think he's done a better job of that. So it's just he's grown up. You're not a year 1 starter anymore. You're in game 3 of a second season, so to speak. We're in game 13. So I think the 5 games helped him more than anything. We got a lot from that. Throwing it as many times as we did, him seeing it on film and understanding like you ain't gonna face many guys that's gonna get after you like that. So really proud of him, the work he's put in, the production he's having, and then where I think they got him up to. Oh man, I know he was at 15 something last week. I think that put him up over 1,600, close to 17. So I mean, that's a good year. That's a really good year for a junior. So proud of him. Hope he continues to grow. I think he is. Trust him. If I didn't trust him, he wouldn't be out there. So really proud of him.
Howie, I'll go back to you. Coach brought it up. Brody Smith, all academic at Falker University. Just saw that release this week. So that's another thing I wanted to, since you brought him up, Coach, thought I'd throw it out. Go ahead, Howie.
Talk about being behind the chains or behind schedule, as you call it. I've noticed that most of these false starts are on the first play of the beginning of a drive. Are you players too hyped up and not paying attention to the snap count? I mean, I don't know. They had 40 yards worth of false starts the Friday night.
I don't know. Two of them was on Will Gant, and he ain't had one since Hoke's Bluff. That's a guy you don't ever think's gonna get one. It's just it happens, and I think it just happened a lot the other night in some situations that I trust them guys will get the job done, and you can throw more of the blame on me than them. But we just got to do a good job sitting in there. I trust them to get it done. I think they'll do a better job of it this week. I don't know if it's overhyped. I don't know if it's. I know for a fact they were screaming and stuff to some of their emotions, and that can cause some problems. But we got to just do a good job of sitting in there. It don't matter what they're saying or how loud they're saying it. We got to key in on three in the ball there and be ready to go. And I thought our guys did a better job in the second half of that. I know we had one late, but when we was in that space, but I think we're going to get better. We've had a better week on it. And we don't mess. Honestly, for goodness, we've ran for the last 4 weeks on any type of procedure call. And we ain't had to run that much the last few weeks. And so it ain't like we ain't even messing up practice. We mess it up more in the game we do at practice. So it's kind of something we just got to lock in and be ready to
go. Okay, yeah. I thought Randy had a question. My fault.
I just scratching my beard. I was just thinking I need to shave, Howie, to be truthful.
Okay. For my eyes, which I'm not a football guy by no means, but it seemed like your offense and defensive front played probably the best game they have all year this past Friday night.
Yeah, played really good. We don't miss a couple stunts there. I think we missed 3 or 4 stunt calls where one guy didn't get the stunt call. And every single time, believe it or not, it's crazy how it works. They hit right where the guy messed up and didn't stunt. So we was over on that. Sometimes you can get lucky and somebody messes up, you're still alive. We didn't. And they ended up being in good plays. And just like on the reverse that they scored on, we wasn't in a good call to what they had called. It was just in a really good football play to what we had, to our dogs call that we had set. So, I mean, and that happens in a football game. Like, I'm going to get in a good call against a defense sometimes, and sometimes they're going to give me, and they're going to be in a good call to us. And then sometimes it's just a guess for them on the defense of what you think they're going to call. And if you're wrong, offense looks great. If you're right, you look great. So, it's like trying to go for it on 4th down and stuff. Sometimes you get it, you're a genius. You don't, you're not. So, it's just decisions you make. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't.
I know you had a good running game start the game off, and then the play action paid off there on the opening drive. I think it was where I think that's the play you're talking about where Finn stepped up and hit Zach with a 32-yard touchdown pass, I think it was. But I feel like that opened up because of the running game that you came out and started off with.
Yeah, so I think our running game, I think people's got to add guys in the box, and that's what's so good about. If you're good up front, you can run the football, you can cause problems because people's got to add guys in the box. If they don't add guys in the box, you feel really good about continuing to run the football. So you'll get a lot of man coverage, you get a lot of cover 3. You never really get a lot of too high looks. Well, throughout the year, because we've been able to stretch the field, throw the football some, we've been getting a lot of too high looks, and so it gives you continuously a box that you can, run the football. So when guys get in there and play a lot of man coverage, play one high, you need to be able offset it with some throws. And, we try to work on it a lot against 5. Was getting a lot of 1 high. Worked on a lot of throws. Well, this past week, we got a lot of 1 high. And we completed some of those throws, even some of the throws we were missing earlier in the year. So we made steps and strides in the pass game. Receivers are getting better. Quarterbacks getting better. But we also, for example, we're still getting 1 high man coverage. So we just want to continue to try to pound the football because I think that's what we're best at. And I think that's what our team feeds off of. We want to run the football, and then, we're going to take what they give us in the pass game and move on because, we know we're good a lot of places. And I think you win football games at the line of scrimmage. I love spread and I like throwing it and all that stuff. But if you watch our offense over the last few years, we like to run the football. It ain't something that, you can call me a spread guy all you want, but really, we run a lot of wing T stuff out of spread. Like I like running the football. It's you control the line of scrimmage, you control game when that clock's running and you're moving the football. So we want to run it, and that's not a secret if you watch us on film. So people that are scouting us, they know what we're going to try to do, and that's A-okay. You can try to stop it, but at the end of the day, if you can drive people off the football, be the meanest group up front, run the ball with authority, and we're running ISO right here. Stop it. At the end of the day, when we're in that spade set, there ain't no question. If 2's catching it, who's getting it. We ain't threw it out of it yet. There's no question who's getting the football. It's always hilarious to me. You got people in the stands for other teams and everywhere. This is everywhere. Like, yeah, who's getting the football, okay, but you don't know the blocking scheme that's going on up front. You don't know how many guys are pulling out front. No matter who's getting it. You can say go tackle the guy that's getting the ball, but that ain't how football works. You got to fit it up, and we run a few different looks out of that spade set. We got a few different pass plays out of it we ain't repped yet because 2 can spin it high too. So we ain't pulled them out of the hat yet, but we may have to soon. But 2 spins it high. So really proud of the group though, and like you said, being able to run the football is a big deal. Been really proud of the guys and how they control the line of scrimmage over the last few weeks, really all year.
One more question, and Randy, I'll let you have it. I meant to mention it last week, and it just slipped my mind, and I want to get it in this week because a big key to the last couple of weeks has been the way Connor Andretti's been placing the ball on kickoffs. Against Vann, he had 3 touchbacks. This past week against Winfield, he put the ball at the same spot on every kickoff. And you ran him out there for a 40-something yard field goal the other night. Had the length, just a little bit wide right. But tell us about Connor Andretti and how much he's meant to the special team so far in the playoff run.
Well, he's been big all year, and he's going to be a weapon for the next few years till he graduates. I feel good for him from 47. It's about as far as I feel. I think he can knock in a 47. 42, I think is what we ran him out the other night. I think it was 42 is what I had it at in my head. I feel really confident with that as well. He's got the leg to do it. If the wind's behind him, I feel really good at that. But anything inside of 30 yards or 35 yards, I feel really good. I think he's more confident there. But he's been really good for us. Kickoffs, I should have told him to kick it deep all night. The other night, I thought our kickoff team's done a really good job this year. At the end of the year, at the end of the year, our kickoff team this second half of the year, you minus that, what game was it? Pisgah, maybe. Geraldine, we gave up a few run backs that were pretty good. I think our kickoff team's gotten better, and a lot of that's doing to Andretti's hang time. Anytime you get the ball in the air for a while, give our rundown team a chance to get down there, it's a big deal. So Andretti's been very key to our success, and not even on special teams, but making people drive the football the length of the field.
Randy, it's all yours, buddy.
Well, I'm going to steal your question, Howie. Something we talked about 3 or 4 times this week. Coach, do you think the physical nature that you were able to start the game with and set a tone to was something Winfield probably hadn't seen before? Or was it a tone that you set every week? I mean, just seemed like physically you were dominating the game early.
Yeah, they played some physical football teams. Copper County, even in round 1, was a physical team they had to play. Winfield's a physical team too. You ask some of our guys, they got after they hit you. But it's something I think our guys take pride in. We want to be the most physical team on the field, bottom line. And if they believe they can win any game, that they're the most physical. So that's something you can control. You can control your effort. You can control how hard you play. You can control how hard you hit. So let's take care of us. Let's take care of our alignments and all the things we can control, and then let the ball end up where it ends up, because we're going to play hard. We're going to hit you. So I think our guys have done a really good job, and they've gotten better at that throughout the year. We played the other night. We've been getting halves of the ball. That takes care of a lot. Like, for example, those stunts we messed up, they could have been big plays, but because we're running the football, we was able to keep it to 7 or 8 yards. So.
Coach, that was the next question I was going to ask you. The defensive staff, I thought you faced a real good offense. I thought they had a very good quarterback. Going into the game, I was frankly, worried about how we were going to match up with him, but the defense did a exceptional job with a good offense, and I thought the staff had a really good plan coming into the game from the film I saw.
Yeah, I think we got lined up really good. Coach Clark, Coach Arnold, and the whole entire defensive staff, Coach Mitchell, Coach William, they all did a really good job of getting our guys prepared for the game, and it showed on Friday. I think it showed a lot second half of the year. You take away Pisgah and Ohatchee games, their defenses played really, really well.
Really?
And, that Pisgah game, if we could go back, I think there's a lot of things we'd tell you we'd do different, because we've really dumbed down the defensive line since then on just getting guys lined up, letting them play football, something that's my fault, should have been done earlier. Since then, I think we've done a really good job of putting guys and, making a move, making the guys that can have more put on them as far as getting lined up. Let's put a lot on them. But the other guys, let's get them lined up, let them play football, let them have fun and run football. And that's helped a lot. And, I think that's been the change in our defense, so to speak, over the second half of the year. And offensively, I think we're getting better and better. I really do. We were really high early in the year. We have, I think, 5. We scored 10 points. But the next lowest score was 23, right? Piedmont. After that was 28 at Hopes, and then 30 and so forth. So I think we're averaging 37 and a half or something, close to 38. I mean, that's a good offensive year, and our offense takes pride in scoring the ball. But at the end of the day, if we score 10 and win 10-7, I'm still happy. I don't care. I want to control the football and win the line of scrimmage and be the most physical. That's what matters. But maybe we can do that.
Coach, I tell you what I love the most is when you use football cliches. You've got them down pat. I'm telling you, 10-7 works for me every time too. Coach, I want to ask you a question about, let's move on a little bit to this week. Last year you went to Madison Academy and you played in a very emotional football game. Our young men, most of them were on that team. What do you bring from last year into this year as far as just talking about the environment and what it felt like and everything you went through over there last year? Because that was an incredible environment, an incredible football game last year.
We had, to be honest with you, I hadn't mentioned it. We hadn't mentioned last year. The only people that's mentioned it that I've heard has been 97.7 asked me about it the other night. I've had guys I talked to on the radio last Friday asked me about it. That's the only last time I've mentioned it or talked about it, because if they're playing off revenge factor, that's fine, whatever. That is what it is. If that's the motto they're taking into the game, we want to make it to a semifinal. So all we're worried about is this year's group and how we can beat this year's Madison Academy team, because that's not last year's team. Just like we're not last year's team. We're two completely different teams. Sylvania, yes, they're two. I mean, we're similar, obviously. We have a lot of the same guys back, but you have a different mindset each year as far as I feel like in your group, how close your group is.
Right.
And I've been really proud of our group. I've told you multiple times about how much I love this senior group and this entire group as a whole. But we hadn't There's been a lot of talk about last year, to be honest with you. We know what we're getting into. I hadn't had to tell them where we're going, or they know where we're going to dress. They know where we're going to warm up. They know what we're going to go through there. They know the environment. They know they were able to get a win last year. They know how tough it was, and they know how tough it's going to be to go over there this year. But our guys they don't talk too much about stuff like that. We let everybody else talk. We try to talk between the lines. Their guys ain't that revenge game's not. To be honest with you, we even talked about it. We just want to win this week because we want to make the semifinal. It has nothing to do with what happened last year at all for us. We just want to win so we can move on. That's all it's about right now. Win in advance. Madison Academy standing in our way. We're standing in their way. And it's two good football teams. I think Coach does a great job over there, and they're going to be ready to go. We're going to have to be.
Coach, does not necessarily last year, but having some familiarity with what they're going to do offensively and defense, does that help on the game planning side when you're looking at film? Or is this going to be a totally different look from Madison Academy than we saw last year?
I think that there's a few things different. They're very similar. Running back's really good. Number 5, he does a really good job of throwing the ball. Quarterback throws it really well. Number 10 out wide's a good receiver. Number 2, their middle linebacker, he gets after it. I think 77 is a good offensive tackle, but I think 71 is a really good offensive guard for them.
Yeah,
he gets after it. I really like watching him play on both sides of the football. I got a bunch of guys that love football and they play hard, so we're going to have to be ready to go. But schematically, they do a lot of the same, just probably like we do. We just do it, I think, a little bit more at a different looks than we did last year. I think we're better on offense as far as the looks we give and stuff, how we move around in different personnel groupings. We have a little bit more you have to prepare for this year probably than in the past, and that's how it should be in year 3, I think. But and then our defense, you think about last year we went over there, like when you talk about last year, we went over there, we was banged up. We had Zach Anderson didn't play, 25 was in the club, 15 was in the club, or 25, and I think there was one more in the club. And then you have 15 and 21 in neck braces. That 20 didn't play. We had a lot of guys that wasn't in the game. Then we had a few that didn't even play at Madison Academy last year. One, Roman, didn't play. He was on the sideline. So, we had a bunch of guys that sit out and watch that wasn't a part of the game. That's going to be a part of it this year, thankfully. And 54 had a labrum tear. So, we were, there's a lot of guys that played in it, but we also lost some guys that played in it to graduation and moved. So, like I said, we're a new team, and we've got to do our job going over there this year against a really good football team and a team that beat a really good Mars Hill team. And got to be ready to go.
From your side with Winfield, it was a good team, and of course they played Mars Hill. People start addressing this and saying, "Oh, you got to get up week after week," but that's the playoffs at this point. You're going to get somebody that's a pretty good football team, and there's no real turnaround this time of year as far as getting ready for practice. It's the same as it was during the regular season. You try to keep to your same schedule, same weekly, even this week during the holiday. Are you going to try to make it look as much as this week as it does during the regular season? Is time, schedule, that kind of stuff?
The rest have been about exactly the same. So we've been identical to where we would be if we were in school. We're going to come through, walk through in the morning. It's going to be at same time, same everything. Then get them out for Thanksgiving. We practice Tuesday, then we have Thanksgiving dinner together, but we practice normal time. So we try to keep everything the same. I think that's the best. Keep a routine and continue to march on. But that's just how we do it. I don't think there's a wrong way of doing any of it, to be honest with you. As long as the kids show up mentally ready to go and mentally ready to practice, I think you can practice at any time during the day. That's just the way I choose to do it. Some people's different than I am, and they have their opinions and probably have really good reasoning behind it. But that's just how we do it.
how I'll come to you after this question. With it being Thanksgiving, Coach, I had a coach from one of the other schools here in Tennessee say that one of the things he talked to the kids about was making sure they stay on their nutrition plan this week. It's a you got to let them enjoy Thanksgiving, though. You got to let them free tomorrow and just kind of hang out with that family. And it's a special day for them. A lot of players will see family they don't normally see, and then they're playing tomorrow night. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of even for you, a lot of people around that's not normally around that you get to talk a little football with, and then come back and play. It's a special thing playing Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, I've always heard it. You know, I was able to do that last year and be able to do it again this year. That's a big deal, and I enjoy it. Being around myself too, being around family, they always ask questions about it. You know, and same with the kids. I get to hear about it, hear about the game, get their opinions on it. I need to stay away from the sick ones and stay healthy and eat right. Yeah, it's okay to have a carb-loaded meal. You won't be mad at them. But go ahead and enjoy food, eat, and get ready to go on Friday.
And for a couple of players that I won't mention, stay away from the energy drinks, okay? Over to Howie. Pick it up from there.
Coach, you talking about Thanksgiving and all this stuff. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Well, dressing, sure. Dressing. And any type of tater. Like, always seems like everywhere we go, there's a family member can make some meat, different types of hash browns and stuff. I'm a potato guy.
Tell you what, Coach, if you wasn't a potato guy, you wouldn't. You're from Sand Mountain.
That's right.
Potato guy.
Right.
Go ahead, Howie.
Yeah, it's like y'all talked about. It's great being able to play this week, being on Thanksgiving and everything. Heading to Madison Academy. School out this week. Y'all already talked about everything. Pretty much been the same. What's going to happen on Friday, game day?
It'll be similar to the way it's exact same the way we normally like when we're not at school on game day. So we'll bring them in early, get a movie going, meet and chill, and then it'll start rolling when we go pregame and hit the road. So everything starts happening quick once you hit pregame, then everything starts rolling. So you know, get them up here, make sure they're here, ready to go, healthy, and then let's just get them to 7 o'clock.
Are you going to break up the trip any, Coach?
No, it's not too far. It's been really similar to our drives, a little shorter than some of our drives this year, actually. So should work out good, just the opposite direction.
How big of a factor will you think it play with your team playing there last year?
You know, I think it helps. Definitely don't hurt anything. Just understanding where we're going and going there and getting it done before. You know, but it's like I told them, the only thing we meant just because we did it last year don't mean you're owed it again. You know, if anything, you're gonna get their best shot. So, anyways, I do think it helps. Don't hurt.
You talked about Madison Academy a while ago. You mentioned specifically a couple of linemen. Are they heavy going both ways, or are they kind of like you as far as got it split up pretty good, people going one way?
You know, they have it split up pretty good. They do rotate some guys. Like 71 will play DN too. I think he's a good football player on both sides. I enjoy watching him play football. You know, he's probably my favorite lineman they got. 71 is. And 65 plays nose for him. He gets after it. I think he's one of their better D linemen. Actually, they're all pretty good now, but 65 gets after it. 4 plays one way for him. I hadn't seen 77 go a lot. I hadn't seen him go any defense much. They do rotate some guys. 57 plays some O-line. He also plays some DN. They have some rotation there where those ends that end up making them both ways. But they do a good job of keeping guys one way for the most part up front. You know, linebackers and people like that, they're pretty much, they play both ways. A lot of them guys do.
When you're playing a team like Madison Academy coming up this week, I know y'all swap film. Is it like 2 or 3 game films, or how does that actually work out?
Actually, whatever you decide, really. I think we did 3, 4, 5, maybe. But a lot of times, coaches, you just like me and Coach Godsey, we said we'd exchange any amount you wanted. Like saves you kind of the trip of going around and getting film from everybody else.
Okay, that's cool. I want to jump back to this past week against Winfield. One particular play you brought out, it was a 1st and goal at the 2. You brought out the tush push there. Randy, I don't know if you noticed that on film or not, but how did your players react to that?
They love that play. It's their favorite play. They want me to do it all the way down the field. I'm not so sure they're wrong. It may work.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you that tush push.
It may work, and we they like it. It's something we've repped that set a lot the last few weeks. We ran it last week, so it's definitely going to be a part of what we do from here on out. We still have a couple other heavy sets we've ran in the past that will be in some here or there, but we really like that set, what it brings to our team, and our kids love it now. They like that heavy set. They ask for it a lot of times.
I know you got something going on for the last couple of weeks that I really enjoy myself. Is you got a man in motion now, not a man going in jet sweep type motion, but you send them halfway across and flip them around, go back. Just I guess say what the defense is doing.
Yeah, a lot of times you see, especially on Saturdays, you'll see guys motion back, or they'll give a return motion or whatever. A lot of times you'll check and see if it's man or zone. But a lot of times if they're in man, I just like making that guy on defense go back forward. And then if they're in man, sometimes if you're over here and you trade them across, you get an extra guy out the way, and so different things like that.
Are you reading early in a game if you put somebody in motion, or is the coaches upstairs, are they trying to give you a read on the field? Something maybe not so obvious. They're rolling the safety or they're switching every time. Coach, are you looking for something with that motion?
Yeah, I kind of see the back end pretty well from the side. What I can't see is the box on the other side. So that's right. Where my box head goes is what's going on the other side. It's hard to see the line of scrimmage on the far side. I can see it on this side, and I can see the secondary. And a lot of times I can see what's happened by where they ended up on the field after the play. You can kind of see where guys ended up kind of probably messed up just by the ending of it. But, it's also sometimes tough to do. But something I'm trying to get better at as I'm went. It's just that way I don't have to ask as many questions. I can kind of stay to myself a little bit more. Is just seeing where guys end up after the play. And then that can tell you really what happened on it because you know where they're starting. So if you can see where they ended up, you can kind of see about who messed up on the play and who did something wrong. But
Coach, I got a message earlier this week from Michael Ingram from Piedmont, the play-by-play man over there, wishing you all the best of luck coming up this week. And it's got to make you feel good by other teams wishing you best of luck, especially out of your own region.
Yeah, it does. And I root for a region. I root for Region 6. I want all of us to win. I thought Piedmont, they almost did. I think they controlled a lot of that game, kind of lost it late. Coach Miller's done a really great job. He got them rolling there late in the year and ended up making, they had a really good chance to be playing this week. And that's a tribute to Coach and what he's done there and that community, and they expect to win. So you knew there was going to be a tough out when they got in the playoffs because of what Coach Smith's done over a decade. When they get in the playoffs, they don't expect to be put out. So they did a really good job. And, Oaks Bluff had a tough draw right off the bat, traveling to Madison Academy with a banged-up quarterback. And Coach Rob does a really good job. So our region, I think, been represented really well this year in the playoffs yet again.
You ready to do some pick'ems, Coach?
I am when you guys are.
Randy, you got any more high school football to talk about before we move on?
I just got one more question for Coach. And Coach, there's we talked to Coach Pruitt on another show Friday, and they're traveling to Tuscaloosa Academy. The Tuscaloosa Academy is traveling to them this week. So Tuscaloosa Academy coming all the way to Sand Mountain. A couple other places I looked, they're traveling large distance. Is it is it to your advantage that you're just going over to Madison Academy and not having to break this up 4 or 5 hours? And it almost feels like some places really got maybe a 5-hour trip, and you just running over to Huntsville. Is that how do you look at it, Coach?
That's really good. And I think that's a tribute to winning your region too, as well. Being able to be at home for a few rounds, kind of stuff falling your way, and then you have to get lucky on where you travel by who wins on the other side and stuff like that. But like Morris Hill Florence would have been way further. But the travel's a big deal. I think that Winfield traveling, right at 3 hours to get here. That's a long travel. It's something that's you're not used to in a regular season. So this travel for us is a normal travel. I think our guys are used to traveling over an hour on a bus ride because that's what we've done all year, traveling to Gaston. When they put us in a region where we have to travel that far, that's just kind of the way you got to do it. And it just happened that we had to travel all down there this year and have all their DeKalb County teams at home. And then last year we just traveled into DeKalb County and had everybody else at home. So, but that was just the luck of the job. I do think it helps that we don't have that far of a travel.
All right, Howie, let me tell you, when you ask about Tennessee, this 1 week I'm gonna pick them with an open conscience this week. So you can get ahead and start because I don't think I'm gonna disagree with Coach on one game this week. I'll put it that way.
All right, Coach Vann, you're 15-11 at a winning percentage of .576. And your guest pickers are at 20-15 at a winning percentage of .571. You have came back to take the lead.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
That makes me want to change one of my picks. Go ahead, Al.
Okay, first game we got up is Oregon State against Oregon.
I didn't expect that one.
Well, since you didn't expect it, you pick it first.
Oregon. You know what? Just going with Bo Nix. Bo Nix over.
Where's that?
Name is.
Is that Oregon?
Is that Oregon?
Yes.
For sure, Bo Nix, Oregon.
Okay. Next in Ohio State, Michigan.
Oh, Ohio State.
I will go out on a limb because I said it on a group chat with all my football buddies today. Ohio State is going to run Michigan in the ground.
So Ohio State?
Yes.
All right. We'll go ahead with the Tennessee-Vandy game.
Look, we're 26-point favorites. If we can't
beat the point spread.
Do what?
We're picking the point spread.
If we can't beat that team from across the state, then I'm done. Tennessee all day.
Tennessee.
You going to Tennessee? You really had a lot of people surprised last week as far as doing the Lee Corso swerve there at the very end. We thought you were going to pick Tennessee, and then all of a sudden you talked yourself out of it and went with Georgia.
Probably a good decision by Coach, just like some of those decisions against Winfield.
I think Carson Beck looked like he was a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, it really is. And
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, Coach. It didn't look no better from inside the stadium than it did on TV. So you had the same view I did. All right.
So let me ask you this, Randy, real quick. And I think coaches might be thinking the same thing, but he's just not going to ask it. But first play of the game, y'all go 85 yards, 80 yards on that run. How'd you feel 20 minutes later after that?
It was a good 15 minutes. I'll put it that way. I was real happy. Look, I must say it. We're not quite the team we're not the team we were last year. I know that Georgia may not be the team they were last year, but their offensive line is as good as any offensive line I've ever seen at the college level. Hey, I've already picked Alabama to beat Georgia, but they got to figure out how to get past those 5 behemoths that Georgia calls an offensive line because we couldn't deal with them.
The last game this week will be Bama and Auburn.
I want everybody to start the cameras right now. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. Give you plenty of time. Because I'm only going to say it one time. Roll Tide.
There you go.
So right now, Coach, you will continue to have the lead coming back in next week.
No matter what.
No matter what. I know Randy's going to do. Well, I'm assuming that Randy will do the shout outs here in just a couple seconds. Being Thanksgiving week, I'd like to ask both of y'all. Start with you, Coach. What are you thankful for?
A lot, but I'm thankful for my wife, Hannah, and my son, Cotton. Thankful that we were blessed enough to have him. God bless us with him. And, we wanted a child for a long time, but it was not too late. That's for sure. He's always on time. I'm thankful for my Lord and Savior and what He's done for me. And, so I can't do anything without Him. And I'm thankful for family, and I'm thankful for this group of young men I have the opportunity to coach and be around daily. That's why I went into coaching, to be around guys like that. Coaching staff like we have, and just a group that loves each other and gets after it. So I have a lot to be thankful for. I can sit here and tell you a lot, but that's it.
Randy.
I'm thankful that a bunch of years ago, I wasn't a very successful high school football player. That for the last 32 years, I've got to be around the coaches and the players, and I've got to experience this. And I'm thankful that I've finally matured enough, I think, in myself to understand what the value of high school football truly is, and to see it for the young men that become great fathers, great workers, great students from playing high school football. And I'm thankful for everyone that's crossed paths with me this year, from South Pittsburgh to Sequatchie County to Pisgah to Sylvania to Fife, and all those young men I get to meet because of something me and you talked about me doing at my living room or my kitchen table 3 years ago, was starting this little network. And it's become, I looked at my phone the other day and I had like 30 something coaches, and I text most of them regularly. That's special to me. I also want to be so thankful for my daughter, who's 14 years old, and you, Coach, you're on a journey that's so much fun. Mine's officially crazy because she's 14 and a girl, but that's okay because God was on time for me, and having a child at 44 wasn't in my plans. But my first time father at 44 years old, it has been the most special ride of my life, and I am so thankful to be a father. It would have been something that if I had missed it, I would have not known what I missed. But becoming a father later in life, I now see that it has been the most blessed journey God ever gave me, was dealing with a 14-year-old insane Taylor Swift fan. So I'm thankful for it.
Of course, I'm thankful for my family and friends as well. Thankful that Coach Vann hadn't thrown me off the sideline yet for some of the stuff I yelled at him and say to him during the game. The other night, 8 minutes to go, somebody had the ball and driving. I'm standing over there on the sideline hollering, milk it, milk it, milk it, because somebody just running the ball at will and could have ran the whole clock out there. But, Coach Vann has a great time on the sideline. People may not realize that.
Yeah.
He's really intense, but he has a good time. And
hey, there's not a comedy show in the state of Alabama you could pay for that's got more laughs than a Coach Vann sideline.
And and what's funny about it is he don't realize some of the stuff he says most of the time. But he just says it out of instinct, I guess. But I'm thankful for Coach Vann allowing me to have this ride with him for the last 3 years as well. Been able to meet these players, and most of these players I've known their parents. I went to school with their parents, so I know them. And thankful for the parents to allowing us to have their kids for an hour once a week. That this season been on this show. So anyway, Thanksgiving.
We'd be remiss not to mention, and Coach, we don't slap you on the back enough. You gave us your time when nobody else knew who we were, and we do appreciate that to this very day.
Appreciate you guys.
And also, we thank Miss Hannah for giving up an hour of her day with him.
The brains and the beauty of the family.
Absolutely. So, Randy, I'll turn it over to you and take us home.
Well, I think you hit all the shout outs. Coach, you got any more you want to get shouted out tonight?
Don't think so.
I think I'm good too. I'm grateful to my God that spared my life and lets me be part of this. And I think that sums up what we all have got to be thankful for. So go enjoy your family. Have some fun tomorrow night. Not too many energy drinks, Cooley boys. Just not many of them. Stay away from them. They all that prime stuff too. Coach, we'll see you next week as we get ready for the semifinals. Have a lot of fun over there Friday night. And for Howie Cheney, Coach Vann, for myself, good night. God bless, and we'll see y'all down the road.